Hi, I'm Hunter Hillary Pendragon Alt, coming to you from the usual Starfield to sort of try and help out a little bit in this sunrise period before the true introductions and before the beginning of Crown for No King. There will be a time when I introduce the concepts of the universe more fully, and I definitely want to have just a couple of deep dives on how things like technology works and magic works, how magic has evolved, how some of the more fundamental concepts, what's the Fae like and its relationship to everything. I would really like to sort of have a more formal discussion after the introductions about how this universe functions, what it's built on, and how it's put together, because I think it's really interesting. But for right now, as I plan to read you in the coming weeks, a smattering of the lore cards that are my favorites, just to practice reading them into the camera and give you guys something to listen to, and hopefully give you a little window and pique your interest as to the universe as a whole. I wanted to talk about perhaps the most fundamental concept in the entire Legends universe, the conceit that makes it the Legends universe, the concept of legends, what they are, and how they become. Legends are stories, but they're people too. The very basic idea, the one promise that every single entity in this universe gets to embody, gets to chase, the one guarantee everyone has is that a sort of personal enlightenment, not chasing some grand dharma, not trying to see the universe for what it is, but trying to recognize your own place in the universe, or trying to enforce your perspective upon it. The very basic idea is that knowledge is a certain amount of power, physical power, that if you can define yourself and defend that thesis, if you can embody your own ideal, craft it, become it, and defend it, but most importantly, come up with it in the first place. Every person that goes through life in, our real day to day probably doesn't study philosophy or probably doesn't think too often about the nature of their relationship to reality. If you do that, if you make that experiment in the Legends universe, you gain power, real power, a special kind of magic that exists only for you and is simultaneously perfectly democratized. If you continue down that road, your thesis can evolve, your story can grow. The most simple and most important magic in this entire universe is that story is power. The myth, the understanding, the knowledge, the fact that something happened and that thing is real changes you and you carry it with you. Myth is power. Whether it is magic, whether it is something not unlike magic, it changes you. People embodying their own story and crafting stories that reach a certain kind of enlightenment and forcing their thesis causes them to become like mythical beings. They become hardier, stronger, more magically inclined. They can craft better, live longer. They just eventually become immortal. Immortality is something you're going to see a lot of. This universe is bogglingly old, older than our universe by orders of magnitude. That the Legends universe has had so many kingdoms rise and fall, and there are people that were born in the very early days of time. There are immortals in this universe that are 600,000 years old and considered very, very immature. They are considered young and having not seen enough of the cosmos to really be trusted with the kind of power they wield. So a legend is the namesake of the universe, happens when a person has reached the end of their own thesis. They have crafted it in its totality, a point where you no longer are just growing stronger, but you have surpassed your design, a point where Legendhood is something that happens to you when you and your thesis becomes a new law of reality. There are not too many legends. There are maybe a couple thousand named characters in the Legends universe. Only about 180 or so have ever become legends. There are other transcendent states, people who have reached the end of their philosophy, but did it in such a way that they are either more harmonious with the universe or they found a niche inside of what the universe was there to provide in the first place. Things like gods, as an example. There are plenty of transcendent gods that have decided to fit into the universe rather than change it. Surpass it, but redefine the design of the universe, change what it means to be a sentient being for everyone else inside of it. These people, these legends, are living laws, and they are as resilient as those laws. They have plenty of tricks. The meaning of death is redefined for them. There are a great deal of things that change when you become a legend. In the stories we're going to tell, Crown for No King has a couple of them, I think. You might not, I don't know how much the lore itself is going to point them out to you, and I plan on doing individual character deep dives at some point that will try and highlight someone or look at a specific story or try and talk about the meta of what this person means, what their legend has done, how it has changed the world. People like Sephiroth, who utterly changed the rules, who saw the death of a cosmic piece of reality and decided that they could take over. People like Morban, who decided that certain contractual magic, part of the bargain of being a living person, was faulty, that it was a raw deal, and he decided that higher beings just do not get stake in someone's soul, destroying connections like guardian angels or a lot of trickster fae, and did so relatively early in the universe's existence. At one point, a handful of legends break time and fix it in a way that it doesn't quite work the same way it used to, and it causes a lot of pain. There are all manner of legends who have changed the universe in all manner of ways, but I just wanted to take this time to introduce that idea that there are individual people and who transcend the laws of reality and change the design of what it is to be a person. And that means that you're going to see a universe that looks very, very different from stories kind of near the start of it to stories kind of in the modern period, as the Legends universe is still being told and stories are still being written. There are a lot of things that are just utterly different now because someone changed them or because a legend died, and a law of the universe was snuffed out. It's people are their beliefs. Stories are powerful. And if you can get those two things to intersect, you can become something truly beyond anything else. Legends are, with an asterisk, the mightiest, most potent creatures in this universe, in just how they have changed it and how the universe is different because of them. Yeah, I just wanted to take the time to state that now, and as you explore the universe, as you hear about people like Cotillion on his journey to become a legend, or Anirnan, people who were so transcendent that he was scared of what being a legend would look like, that as you meet them, you get to understand that this universe changes under the weight of the people in it, that the characters, anyone in any story you see, could eventually become ultimately powerful, not by some trick, not by some great inheritance or prophecy, but purely because they fought hard and they learned something and they believed in it enough that whether they were wrong or right, they changed the rules for everybody else. I hope you enjoy. I love this universe. I love how its magic and laws and rules work and intermingle and create a story that is fundamentally about something. This universe with so many disparate pieces in it and so many stories, so many characters, so many different main characters and protagonists of their own story that have their own story, that are interesting and worth learning and worth telling you all. And how they all just collide, how it has changed over time, how some of the greatest wars that have been fought because of people who genuinely believed in things and waged the forces that make up reality against each other. It is, I think, fascinating, and I love this universe because when things happen, it cannot help but say something. And just exploring that has always been fascinating to me. And thinking back on the characters who just tend to survive, or even the ones that don't, to see how that changed the things that come after it. This is a concept that we're going to have to talk about a while in the future, and something I'm honestly still kind of struggling with. But spoilers is a difficult subject for this universe just because of how it works. There are stories where they are kind of the context that creates others. I can't tell you, the new death without telling you a little bit about Jade Laurel, even if that's in the dead middle of his story. There's, A Crown for No King centers around the end of the War of Nine Tyrants, but there's a lot of stories about just Asmodel and Mira that went towards starting it in the first place. Teshin and everything he did. Revalin and why they didn't participate in the war, why they just let the humans go because they had their own apocalyptic demons to deal with. Their king going crazy and tearing a wound in reality at the same time as the War of Nine Tyrants was going on. How the Nexus and Darnad got built, or how the wound in Erangel kind of has this background politicking between the mightiest mythical beasts and elementals that kind of just went unnoticed. The Council of Seven and their little kind of backroom retirement plan that isn't going so well. Lucian with Hell's Acre, Sin with the city of Aquila. There are a lot of places and pieces that I know are just words to you right now, but the way they interact with each other is so incredible to me, and it is always my favorite part whenever I get to invite someone new into the story, whenever I am lucky enough for someone to go, you know what, that's kind of interesting, and they get to create their own character. The joy of handing someone the potential for ultimate power and just being willing to see what this character is going to do and what it is going to mean for people, what the characters that have already, written their name on the face of the world, what they have to say about what people do is utterly fascinating, utterly enjoyable, and blindingly interesting to me. I love these stories. This universe is a constellation of some of the best stories I've ever heard. I cannot wait to share them with you. I cannot wait. I guess I'm just trying to say that I would like to tell you a story.